When you look back at your life, early years, growing up as a child and going into university and all of that, what would you say maybe a person or an event has shaped you in some way to become the person that you are?
So I think of two things, or two people, maybe three people. One was my grandmother, who was very, very important to me. And she used to say to me when I was very little, you can't boast. You never boast. That would be her one thing. You just quietly do what you need to do and to in your day-to-day life. The other thing she said, she sent me a poem. I was quite young. I still have it in her handwriting, which I treasure now. But it was a poem that talked about, consider at the end of each day, is anyone happier because you passed their way? Mm-hmm. Was your time together, was your time well spent, or did you waste your time? So kind of that consider and kindness and always being reflective at the end of the day to think back on your day and see, did you accomplish what you wanted to accomplish, but along the way, did you make people happier because you passed their way? That was super important to me. And I carry that with me today, almost every night. It used to be when I drive home. Now I just walk to the kitchen. But I try to think back on the day and think, what did we accomplish today? Did I spend it on things that will move things forward in a positive way? Did I waste my time on other things? So that has been really important. The other two important people in my life, and you'll start to see a theme here, is my parents. So family is very important to me. But one of my dad always said to us as we were growing up that you give the best to the world and the best will come back to you. And so it kind of aligns with what my grandmother would say, what my parents would say, always be doing your best. You may not be successful in everything, but be prepared, do the best, and the right things will happen to you. You will get the right things back. And I would say, I said at the beginning that I was very determined to be a physiotherapist. Like there was just nothing else. Like I was going to get into physiotherapy school. There was just no other way around it. But there was times, as you would know, getting into OT as well. It was hard. It was tough. I was chosen over many others that would have been in the same interview process that I was in. But, it's just do the best you can. And when you do the best you can, good things will come to you.
I love those. It's all about service to others. And I do have a question in terms of, your grandmother saying, never boast. And often as women, as girls, that's what we hear. We're taught to just do good work and, don't boast about that. But do you feel that in some ways hinders progress for women in the corporate world, in leadership, especially if you look at healthcare, there aren't that many women leaders as compared to the front line, where it's 80% women.
It's true. I've never felt it held me back, Shiyen. I'm proud of things that we've accomplished. I'm happy to share with others things that we've accomplished. I'm happy to do journal articles on things like that. I'm happy to get it out there, but it wouldn't be something that I won't be the person that overtakes the meeting to be able to say, I know what's best. And I think that's very much into my upbringing. And I would say that I feel very rewarded through my career because of that. So I've never felt that as a woman or as a girl, as a woman, that I didn't get the same opportunities. That was just me. I tend to be reasonably confident in who I am. I've just never felt, that happened because of something else, some external factor. It was very much, there was something that wasn't meant to be. It was maybe my knowledge, skills, and abilities weren't right there. So I've never really felt that. It may be some of my confidence that is speaking there.
No, I love that. It's like, it's the confidence with humility. So what are some lessons that you've learned as you progressed in your career? Obviously the responsibilities, the workload increased. So how did that impact, your family, and what advice might you have for leaders today?
Yeah, I think that my comment or my response to that will be one of my age. So we have one boy and he grew up with me through all of the different things that I've been involved in. At one point, he would come with me to various meetings. Just to tell you a funny little story, he would come to a meeting in the evening, and he was just this little tiny tot, under 5, and he'd sit on the chair very patiently with his little legs sitting straight out. And on the way home, he'd say, Mom, how come you asked if there was any questions from the floor the floor can't ask you questions, you know? And so I just took him everywhere with me, and he was part of, even though I would go to work, obviously, without him, of course, but he was still very much part of who I am. But in age, as time goes on, if I were to do it again, I would just say your kids aren't with you that long. You still have a really long career after they decide to go away to school or go out on their own independently. We only have so much time with them. And so I really believe that I did the best I could at those times. And like I said, I think it's where I am in my career. I look back and I think, wow, those times are so short. And people told me that. People absolutely said, they're short times, don't waste them. And I don't think I did. But I would just say to someone going along, continue. You can have a career and you can be a fantastic parent. Don't put yourself to pressure on one way or the other. Do what you can, do what's right for you, because what's right for me isn't necessarily what's right for others. When I went back to do my MBA, because I did it after once I was into leadership, so I was a mature student at the time, and my son was in grade 6 at the time, and he would study at the other end of or he'd do his homework at the other end of the table while I was doing my work. So we'd work together at it. And so it's just trying to do what was right for our family. And, I want people to understand that you can do both, and you can do both successfully, really successfully. Your kids are only with you for a short time.